I did, yeah. I'm just waiting for the recorder to start. Oh, here it is. And great. So in response to Damarato's comment about the mission statement, whether it should be one page or multiple pages, with say what we have now, having like hyperlinks to different pages. I think that would be a really great way to kind of explore the website. I believe WordPress actually does that. They have like a really basic mission statement. You know, it's like one paragraph, and then they have click-throughs on all the different points. So I think it's a pretty nice format aesthetically. And there are a lot of words there that we can totally expand on, like, you know, like grassroots is one, camaraderie is another, generosity, you know, integration, ancient wisdom, you know, almost every word of this statement could be clicked through on, you know, which I think is great because it means we packed a lot into a little. So that's always a good sign.
Tyler, there's a little echo in your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Robert, I completely agree. And there has been some work in a group. You might have already been added to it. There's a Skype group for the website
Yes.
where that discussion has been going on. It might be beneficial at some point to just get a list of really good nonprofits, Buddhist related or not, to see how they structure their websites and how they structure their organizations. Maybe not even just for the website, but this might be more of a governance thing to sort of market research.
Yeah, and I think maybe we can kind of we do a part of that as the agenda, as like reviewing the website that you put together. So I guess where are we on the agenda right now?
I'll start it off. I'll start the meeting off now. The official agenda. So the first thing that we have is to related to Robert's comment there, is to approve the mission statement. So last meeting we meeting number 4, it's on the YouTube if you're watching this there. We ad-libbed, created a mission statement, refined it, and we informally voted that mission statement was good enough to be on the nonprofit papers and that related stuff, so we could get that process going. And then after the meeting, we said we'd continue to discuss. There was some continued discussion in the group chat of suggestions of words and playing around with the word Sangha. Eric had some wonderful suttas that he quoted. And I had implemented some of those changes. Where we ended off was promoting, I'll read where we ended off now. Open Sangha Foundation is a grassroots and transparent initiative of volunteers interested in improving access to noble friendship in the West, supporting generosity, promoting family, and encouraging integration into communities that practice the ancient wisdom of the Buddha. People had made the point that family had some potential connotations that we might not want, not particularly negative. However, it's now been replaced with the word camaraderie that Eric suggested, and I think that might be more fitting in terms of the value we're promoting. So we can vote on that now and approve that now. We before recording, we were talking about how there is no quorum rule or formality in place yet. So it's fine for us as the informal board of directors, not legal board of directors yet, to vote. And we can, we'll get to this later in the meeting, but finalize and refine those rules later. So if anyone has any comments, you can say. If not, we will vote the 4 board of directors that are here.
Sounds good to me.
Great. Okay, so all in favor? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, so Tyler, Keyshawn, I'm not sure if you're here, and Robert, all in favor of approving the mission statement, raise your hand.
Hey, all right.
for those not here, Skype has a feature where you can raise your hand, and they raise their hand using that feature. That's not in the recording.
Okay.
Great.
All right, cool. All right, approved on
Yeah,
this.
Keyshawn here, raising my hand.
Wonderful.
Sweet.
Thanks, Keyshawn.
Yes.
Cool. That's a big deal. That's
Hand
awesome.
raised.
All right, we've got some sort of compass now that we'll use as an organization. Whatever we're doing, that's the mission. I
Yeah,
think,
and
like
just-
Robert said, that was a really good point, that it is compact, but it's also fairly specific, where we can look at these are actual values that we're looking to align on. Go ahead, Tyler.
Just one thing I just want to voice over for the folks on YouTube is that like the purpose of this of the mission statement isn't something like, sometimes there's like corporations that have a mission statement where they're like, Kroger promotes delightful moments or something. It is something that's very like bland. It doesn't really mean anything. But the intention of this mission statement is that it's something that we're going to constantly refer back to when we say, okay, let's do this project, or let's spend money on this, or let's spend our time on this. We're going to always go back to this mission statement and say, is it actually doing the thing that we set out to do as an organization? And so we're going to be looking at this a lot. And if you feel like we're getting off track and not adhering to this, like, raise your voice and and say that, because it matters a lot.
Wonderful. Yes. I repeat that. I one up that. Okay, so continuing with our agenda, we now are on the topic of the website, and we have a proposal related to the. Go ahead.
Oh, also one other point, Tyler, you might want to mention the point about the quorum for board members that aren't here. I just think it's important that we should probably agree on something related to that, or at least mention it.
Yeah, I think Parker mentioned this earlier, that like we didn't, in our earlier governance rules, we never specified if there needed to be a quorum. And so for the sake of like speed, we're just going to pass these now because it's kind of within our current rule set, but we do need to clarify this. I totally agree with you. So we'll talk about this later, but there's other bylaws we have to clarify. Part of this is for our like actual legal incorporation and our bylaws. And so we're going to be continuing to iterate on this over the next week or two, but we'll talk about that more in detail later.
Okay, great. Just for posterity. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Robert. Yes, so I'm going to share my screen.
Posterity behind you.
Too good.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right,
good.
great. So this is the proposal 5, create simple website. Essentially, a website was created a while ago by Willie and maybe helped with some others with the original Open Sangha collective. You can see this here. We tried to fiddle around with that, tried to take the content down and implement it again. But there were various issues which related to communication, getting the website from Willie, and then using it in a way that is that we can take it on and as an organization and continue to maintain in a way that's simple and clean. So for those reasons, among some other reasons, maybe, we're not using that website. The goal is to create one, which, as you'll see, has been created, that is simple and right now just communicates our mission statement to the people who want to be involved. Right now, as a group, we don't have enough resources or have put in enough efforts to create features that are very refined and put on a website are of much value to anyone. So what we're looking to do now with the website is sort of, if you look at it like a marketing filter, where it's a filter here, and the people on the top are the least engaged, and the people as you get down the filter are more involved. Maybe they're communicating a little bit with the people in the organization. At the bottom, very involved or very enthusiastic about the mission. What we're looking to do with the website right now is just communicate to the people that are very involved that, hey, we're looking to further Sangha, and get in touch with us, because right now there's not much of value beyond that that we can provide. So the website will have the logo, does have the logo, has an actionable version of the mission statement, very hook-like. We decided on this or I suggested one, and a couple people agreed that it sounded good in the main Skype Open Sangha Foundation chat. I'm going to read it now. Sangha in Western Buddhism is lacking. Open Sangha Foundation intends to change this. So that's more of like a hook. Someone's looking at the website, they scan, they see that line. Oh, I agree with that, or that strikes a nerve that I like. And Analu will give a basic WordPress tutorial for the people who are going to maintain this. Analu, who hasn't really been directly involved in the organization, graciously volunteered her WordPress skills to build a website, which has built, and I'll show shortly. Tyler and I connected with her a month ago, and she put together a wonderful mock-up, as you can see here. This is the website, Sangha Without Barriers. This is the line that we are talking about, and this is the mission statement. And we have the YouTube meetings linked right here. And
what a good idea.
How to get involved.
Okay, let's. Can we talk about the getting involved part?
Yeah, let me just finish covering this. That at one point we had talked about Wix, but there were various differences that people had an opinion on that, and those weren't quite decided. But then Analu volunteered her skills in WordPress, and those solved all the issues. Go ahead, Dhammarato.
I would like to address the idea of membership, and that I see that at the bottom. Can you scroll it back down to the bottom? Or was it when they get involved? Did I see something at the very bottom?
With the newsletter?
About well, let's talk about the newsletters next. Let's when you get involved, how do we expect people to do that? Subscribe to our newsletter. That's what I'm looking for. We can leave that for now, but we probably want to talk about subscribing for more than just a newsletter. And so as we subscribe to a newsletter, what kind of data are we asking people for? Just a name and a email address?
Yeah, so the points of action, or when someone's viewing the website, we want to get involved. One would be able to join the community and start participating in the discussion, and just be able to connect with the people working on this if they are interested. And then there might be other things that we consider in the future, like some organizations have white papers or missions, or like detailed constitutions of sorts, where they could really read in depth about what the organization does. We don't have that. And the newsletter would be, maybe someone's interested. They don't know how they can help, but maybe they'll be interested at some point, so they can keep in touch, keep in contact. But like you're saying, it would be of benefit to know who we're keeping in contact with. Are they a teacher? What information is relevant to them? Are they a student? So that's something we can talk about right now, briefly, but it would probably be most effectively discussed once we have a core group of people talking about the website that's knowledgeable about this stuff, because I'm sure there's some things that I don't know about within, because having boxes like that make it less likely that the person will actually subscribe. So a balance between how many boxes you have, how many options is on a separate page, where when people click subscribe, it goes to a separate page and then they click boxes. Because when someone's just visiting the website, they're slightly interested, they want to get subscribed as soon as possible. So balancing that with also wanting to get information to people that will actually be of benefit to that person, and they'll be able to act on it.
Yeah, I could to give a little bit more color on that too, and that like I really like the idea of collecting more data, and it would probably be useful. Though I think the danger of that, or the potentially the downside of it, is well, one, it's just like it's like another step that people have to go through, another thing to implement, and you're going to get drop off. But the other thing too is that like we are so early in this, there actually might be different data that we'd want to collect depending on what we decide to do as an organization. And so like maybe the distinction isn't exactly teacher-student, but it's actually something a little bit different potentially. And so in that case, we would have been collecting data in a certain way prematurely. And so I think for now, like where we are as an organization, it's probably okay to just have it super simple and just to get it out the door and get incoming information. Okay. And then the next step would be like, okay, once we have a plan of exactly what we're trying to do, then getting more information in the newsletter might be part of that plan. And
it could even be part of the newsletter, I imagine, where you ask the people subscribe to the newsletter for more data or something. I don't know much about newsletters, but I imagine that might be some sort of feature.
One of the things that I had thought and have been having this particular thought for several years now is that we will have emails that are particularly targeted to certain types of people. And so getting that kind of information so that an example of that would be how far along someone is in their practice of the Dhamma. Because the things that would be interesting to someone who is raw, brand new, doesn't know anything, is completely different than the elders who have been possibly ordained for years, have over the hill in age and very well established. And then there's a whole bunch of people in between, including teachers who are already established.
Totally agree. I think your instinct on that is totally right. That like we eventually will want to collect different kinds of information. And I think the problem is right now, it's not necessarily a problem, but just with the stage we're at as an organization, we just want to keep
Somebody's it simple. Trying to join the call. Do you want to let them in? Shall we add them to the call?
It depends. Are they in the group, or is it like someone calling for the first time?
I don't know. We can find out. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I emailed Dhammarato yesterday about calling. Didn't expect to crash your meeting.
I know. Just to give a little bit of context, this is for like the Open Sangha Foundation. We are. Parker, do you want to give the mission statement?
Yeah. You might have seen some of the videos on the YouTube channel, but
yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, the mission statement is Open Sangha is a grassroots and transparent initiative of volunteers interested in improving access to noble friendship in the West, supporting generosity, promoting camaraderie, and encouraging integration to communities that practice the ancient wisdom of the Buddha. So we were just talking about that here, and we're about halfway through our meeting agenda. You're welcome to chill and listen and share anything if you like.
Okay, thanks.
And
hello to everybody.
It's good to meet you. What's your name?
Greg.
Greg, it's good to meet you, Greg.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
Good to meet you all.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
Cool. So I think we were just talking about. I think he left it up from before.
All right. So Robert Keyshawn Tyler, does this website proposal sound good? Do you have any thoughts? If not, we can go ahead and vote and pass this.
Just one final thought on that is that there was still some lorem ipsum in there. So we'll just like sync back with the NILU and just be like, make sure we like tidy that up again. But the next step from this, if we approve this, is that NILU is going to flip the switch, and the Open Sangha Foundation.com or .org is going to become that website. So again, we're going to keep iterating on this. It's just a starting point, but that would be the consequence of this vote.
Okay,
Right.
so you're saying that we're actually going to have the website itself as the .org, and that
Yes.
that's what we're going to be using, and that there is also a .com that will just merely link to the .org as long as the .com exists, which I think will be 4 years or so. It's already been paid for. That's fine with me. Got no trouble with that.
Great.
Sweet.
All right. So yes, there will be some final touches to the mock-up. We don't have a Discord or anything, so it'll probably just link to the Skype chat until we take some further steps, potentially of creating a new chat or a different platform. And then the lore epsum and actually integrating the newsletter with MailChimp.
Okay. What about the possibility of moving the logo from the bottom up to the top? Yeah, the Open Sangha Foundation logo. Can we move that up and put it inside the picture?
There's the logo here up in the top left too.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you make that bigger? Because I missed it completely.
Yeah, we'll after we approve this, you're already a part of it, Domrado. There's the group of people that talk about the website or are talking about the website, and any changes to add on to this mock-up that can be done there and talked about there, because I'm not knowledgeable on UX, UI design and stuff. Anu might have more knowledge related to that.
Oh, cool. That I'm sure would be a very easy move. Maybe grab and expand and paste it. I mean, we're talking about a 10-second operation. I just don't know how to do that 10-second operation.
Yeah, right. We'll talk to Anil about it.
Great.
All
okay,
right.
so all in favor of approving this proposal 5, create simple website, raise your hand.
Robert, is that a yay or nay?
Great. All right.
Hey. Okay.
All of the board members here. For reference, you might have seen the video, Greg, but 2 meetings ago we voted on a board, and so those are the people who are, I guess, officially voting on things and sort of the communication structure, governance structure. Great. Okay. So the next thing on the agenda to talk about is the role descriptions and the various roles that board members will take on. I sent a document in the agenda, and I have it open here now. This was shared with me by the lady on Fiverr who we purchased the package from for the 501c3 stuff. We'll talk more about that later. But the job descriptions that she has by default are the following: board chair, vice chair, committee chair, typical board member, and the committee chair. We don't know about what the governance structure is going to be like. We don't know if we're going to have committees. But that would be someone, if a committee is created on the board, a group of people, like a section of people on the board working on a specific thing, the committee chair would be the person leading that committee. A board secretary and board treasurer.
I'm looking at the distinction between a committee and a work group. And it seems to me that they're about the same thing, except that the distinction that you're making is that the committee members have to be on the board and work group members can just be ordinary volunteers.
Exactly. That would be the distinction.
After the
it would be on something like finances or governance, that it would be board members working on it.
Right. Okay, but the
Yeah.
website.
But we're not even decided on implementing this or not. The really crucial ones that we're talking about here are the board chair, the vice chair, the board secretary, and the treasurer. And so I'm going to get to this point in a little bit, but the point of governance and the specifics that we don't have ironed out related to that. But those are the 4 roles that we're pretty sure that we're going to need. So I'm going to invite the board members here, and additionally the board members that haven't attended this meeting, if you're interested in filling one of these roles, to say something in the board group chat on Skype. And then next meeting, if there's been enough discussion about that, we can vote or create some proposal on this person is filling this role on the board. So this goes pretty well into my next point on the agenda, is governance, and specifically the bylaws. So I had getting that stuff from the lady on Fiverr. She had shared a bylaws with us that was pretty template-like and doesn't fit a lot of our ideas with how we're governing the organization. So we have some, I'm going to get back to her at some point, but we have those bylaws that don't fit, and more importantly, we don't know what fits. There are a lot of gray areas and uncertainties in what specific rules or formalities are we implementing. So the ask here would be to invite anyone interested in this. Tyler and I talked about it a couple days ago, but it would be good to include anyone here, board member or not, to join a group of people to discuss and talk about ideas on the bylaws. This would be ideally a 1 or 2 week project of trying to refine ideas related to that.
Cool. I can just add a little bit of detail on that.
That'd be great.
And so I guess part of the intention too is marrying up, like we've made certain governance decisions in the past, and like making sure that's reflected in the bylaws. But also, I mean, like we really truly want to be a grassroots organization, and we want to make sure that's like reflected in our bylaws as well, right? So it's not just like the board calling all the shots, not like accountable to the rest of the community.
Yep.
And we're really just like a group effort, and the board is just a type of role in this bigger group effort. And so as part of that, I think sometimes there's been this little bit of confusion, including for myself, on the idea of like proposals and like when to use a proposal versus do you do something else. And, you know, ultimately, basically, like a proposal shouldn't block anybody. Like a board decision should be kind of limited to things that are like big sweeping changes that change the process of the whole organization or how we use our funds and resources. But we don't want a proposal to be blocking someone from, you know, making a change to the website or creating a project that they're willing to take initiative behind, right? And so we want to make sure that we're creating a structure, but at the same time, like we want to be able to track these projects. We want to have visibility. There needs to be an owner of them, right? And so we want to balance these two things. So that's actually a challenging thing to do. How do you balance keeping something decentralized and grassroots while also having structure and process, right? And that's like kind of an interesting tension to play with. And it's something that I'm going to be exploring a lot over the next couple of weeks. And again, if you're interested in governance, please reach out to me or Parker, and we can like go deep on this stuff. But I'm going to be putting together like a simple tool, and I want to show you kind of something that's a tool that I'm kind of inspired by. 1 second here.
While you're looking at that, I have a comment, and that is that what you have been posting before, Parker, looks like typical organization chart where you have a president and a vice president, the secretary and the treasurer, and almost all organizations have that kind of structure. Maybe also, and so I would say that would be typical, and small changes to the boilerplate that you've gotten from this woman who is helping you do the 501(c). We can make a few modifications to that, but I don't think that it's really, let us say, a problem at all. So long as we have the, let us say, the spots to plug names to.
Yeah, I guess the concern though is that there's actually a lot of stuff in the bylaws. There's a lot of like extra stuff, and it's unclear if those things are legally required or if they're just kind of like cool ideas that she had about how a board should work. And so there's lots of things for like meetings and process, and we actually want to keep it a little bit more stripped down if possible and more flexible. And so there's it's actually like a lot more like in depth and built out than we would even like in some places. And so part of the things we're trying to do is like, we want to be like legally accountable to the board rules, and we don't want it to just be a piece of paper. And she's proposing a lot of process that we didn't quite envision. And so we want to make sure we understand what we're getting ourselves into and what's legally required and what's just like a nice to have.
Okay.
Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
So this is from another organization I'm involved with called MetaGov. And I think, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Something that's interesting that they do is that they're like a decentralized nonprofit, and they have kind of like a list of like their projects on their website. And so this is like, they have the distinction. There's like formal working groups, right? These are things that maybe are like board approved and have like the blessing of the board. There's also like more kind of informal efforts that are kind of coming from the community, right? And so I think we want to potentially do a similar structure. And also you'd see like the members kind of in the directory. And so I'm interested in building something kind of similar where we can have an easy way to say like, hey, here are the things we're working on. Here's how we make decisions. Here's an easy way to join and get involved with how we work. And basically a way to kind of manage the community of like how we work together. And so I'm interested in building something like this. One, I just wanted to get like initial reaction of like, does this seem like it resonates and would be useful? Like, is this worth putting time into?
I'm resonating. I'm impressed.
All right. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Greg, what do you think?
You're on mute, Greg.
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, it looks good. It looks like you're covering a lot of bases. I don't know much about this kind of endeavor, but looks pretty impressive so far.
Cool. Keisha and Robert, is this something, does this kind of direction seem like a useful thing? But as before I dump a bunch of time into it, I just want to make sure that you guys like think it would be useful.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. You guys know more about what we need for the 501(c), but I'm very happy that we're actually making really strong progress in getting that thing done. And so I would like to congratulate you, and you have my vote when you're ready.
Sorry, Robert, I think you were saying something.
Okay, no worries. For some reason, it might be because of my phone, but I wasn't able to see the thing. But if everyone else likes it, I'm sure it's good. So.
Okay, I'll send you a link in a second.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So we're ready to vote again, I suppose. Keyshawn, can you turn your hand off so you can turn it back on?
There are no more votes needed.
Yeah, there's no more votes. This is just me. I just wanted to kind of get your guys' reaction on that. I'm going to put together a bigger tool, and then we'll do another vote later on about like kind of clarifying how the process would work between proposals and creating projects and how to use the tool. But we'll do that in a future meeting.
My thoughts on it are the question would be how public facing or how many projects is Open Sangha Foundation doing at once? How because this is like a research initiative and it seems like it has a lot of public appeal and there are a lot of people applying for the projects and doing the projects. The question would be are people just interested, like side eye, interested enough to get involved and do a project? Or would that not have be of benefit to anyone, have like an interface like that, and we had talked about like an Airtable or something be better. I'm completely undecided on it, but
So,
yeah.
by the way, what I just showed Parker is actually pulling from Airtable.
Okay, so
So
it would
it's
be
both
very
and, both
similar
and.
whether we're doing it like customer facing or public facing or within the organization.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Cool. Do we have anything else? Are we all done for the day?
The call to actions would be if anyone wants to join the web development group or the website group, the people of talking about the specifics on the website. I'll leave the link in the, I guess just so on the YouTube video, I'll link just the main Skype chat that anyone can join. And then if you join that Skype chat, there will be links to the web development group, the people talking about the specifics on the website, and also the group that within the next week or two, will be looking into this governance and proposal process and bylaw sort of thing. So those two groups, that would be the call to action for you guys. If you're interested, check that out. And additionally, the board members, if you're interested in filling one of these roles, say something in the board chat.
Sweet.
All right, great.
Okay.
Well, it was great seeing everyone here. If anyone has any other points, feel free to make them. If not, meeting adjourned.
Okay. Before you go, one of the things that I will be doing is talking to some people like Robert and Corey and Keyshawn and others about content for other pages. One of the pages that I'm sure we're going to need is the donation page, and we need a blurb about that. But I think that we also need to put a whole article about generosity, and the whole idea is to take the money out of the organization. So your mission statement is spot on for that and doesn't have any conflicts, but we need some more detailed content. Actually, what I'm looking for is inspirational content. Just people that say, yeah, we need to do that.
Yes, great. Maybe something to mention here was before we turned the recording on, we were talking about having a weekly meeting at the time that was mentioned was 8 a.m. Pacific time. Would that work for you, Domrado? You talked about talking to Corey and Keyshawn stuff about the website content. A meeting at that time, would you be able to attend?
That would be, someone said 10 p.m. on
Let's see.
Thai time. And yeah, that'll be okay.
Yep, correct. Okay. Well,
You guys don't need me anyway. I'm just a cattle prod. And I really appreciate that I've been able to get you guys going this far. I mean, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Tyler, especially, I appreciate your work.
Yes,
Thank
likewise.
you,
I really appreciate it too.
I appreciate that. I haven't done nearly as much work as Parker, so I think we've all been like putting a lot of work, and it's cool to see some momentum now. So I'm really excited about it.
Excellent. Okay.
Great. Well,
Awesome.
I'll send some follow up in the chat, and great seeing you guys. It was great meeting you, Greg. Enjoyed chatting with Domrado, if that's what you end up doing after that. All right. See you all.
Good to meet you all.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
There you go. Bye.
Take care, guys.